questions we wrestle with as Christians about who God is, how do we live out our faith, what is the Bible, what is the truth of the Bible, what are we supposed to believe, how are we supposed to live. There are really big, deep questions that we ask each other, that we ask God, that we wrestle with ourselves. And that's why the Cultivate podcast exists, to help us go deeper in our understanding of who God is, His Word, and the way that He's called us to live. Hey everyone, welcome to the Cultivate podcast with the Grove Church. I'm here with...
Bagel, not DJ today.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. Last week you had for several weeks you had those things.
4 weeks in a row.
Now you're just regular Bagel Boone.
Yeah.
I guess I just went straight to width and didn't say who I was. I'm Charlie.
Yes,
I'm
Charlie.
the lead pastor at the Grove,
Yes.
and you are an excellent podcast producer.
Oh, thank you. The headphones will be back next time.
You were. Is that why you just say she's off camera? You said you were a terrible podcast producer. Is it exclusively because you forgot your
correct
extra long cord for your?
Mainly commenting that how many times do I come here and tell you like, shoot, I forgot X, Y, and Z.
You're
so
not
Charlie,
a detail-oriented person.
I'm not.
Sure. Right.
Charlie sings my praises, but there's always something beforehand that happens.
There's always a sense of like, hey, we're going to meet at 2. And I'm like, okay.
We'll meet at 2.
2.
Exactly.
2. Well, whatever. So anyways.
It'd be better if I had kids to blame it on, but it's just me.
I think kids would focus you more.
You think?
Yeah. Like I have these other chaotic things. It would force you into a more organized system. That is not me saying you should get you some kids.
Nah.
There's an order to this.
There is an order, and we're nowhere near it.
Right. Well, I mean, I'm not trying to scratch at that wound or anything, but I'm just saying.
Yeah. I'll try and improve my timeliness. But that's been 30 years going and it hasn't happened yet.
Right. These are deeply entrenched issues.
Yes.
So we are now, I'm going to say we're just months into.
We are.
Series in the parables.
We're about to be
following a year-long. No.
More than a year.
More than a year.
Yes.
Do you like that? Like, I know with sermon series, like you say, if you can make it at least 6 weeks, that's really good.
Yes.
What is a good podcast series length for you?
When I'm listening to one?
No.
Or when I'm producing one?
This particular one.
I would prefer the series because I think it's more fun to connect whenever we're sending out promo materials or like social posts and stuff like that, to have like you're watching a bunch of stuff back to back about the same topic. I find it fun. Now, if you find a really boring topic to me, I might say otherwise.
Because we could have done the top 10 best parables, the most controversial.
Okay.
Like, you
putting it that way makes me go really back it in on. I like long ones.
Okay.
Mainly because it'd be like, well, surely there's more to talk about than just 10.
Because we were talking about, I think we've talked about it. We talked about that we want to do church history.
Yes, that one needs to be
about that with them,
at least 2 years long.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like you could, in my mind, I was like the top 10 most influential people, the 10 most influential events. But like you could do a church history podcast.
And that'd just be your podcast
that lasted for infinity.
Yes, you could.
Right? I mean, so
we got to cut it off. You got
to stop somewhere.
But this is our 19th one, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
19.
I know.
That's a lot.
Yeah. Who knew there was even 19 parables?
I think I might have. I might have known that. All right. So we kind of talked about this before. We're now kind of into these parables that they're not the bangers.
Sure.
And I think a lot of them are the ones that they're, some of the earlier ones that we're looking at are like, they're well known and maybe they're kind of confusing to understand, but the points are like, oh, okay. I mean, it's not controversial that, be nice to your neighbor, right?
Except your son back home.
Right. God loves you. I mean, they're kind of deep. But now we're into kind of these ones that I think are a lot more straightforward. But as I was reviewing some of, like, I walked away a little wounded.
Okay.
Right. Like, like Al, like you could have not said that.
Sure.
Like, hey, you should know that God loves you. You need, the parable of the talents. You should work hard. God's given you something.
Then don't build your house on the rock.
Right, like listen to what
Destruction.
But even that, like what, like the big application point, Abigail, you should listen to what Jesus says and obey. And I'm like, yeah.
Pretty universally agreeable.
This is gonna hurt a
A little
bit.
tough.
All right, so let's go to it. Start with the setup here. Luke chapter 14, and start in verse 1. One Sabbath, when Jesus went to eat in the house of a prominent Pharisee, he was being carefully watched. Well, let's just stop right there. I mean, that's a really good setup right there.
That he's being carefully watched.
He is being carefully watched. So he is at the house of a Pharisee who we know they don't like him. They don't like him.
Yeah.
And even amongst, I mean, that's obvious. If you just said that he's in the house of a Pharisee, you'd be like, okay, but this is going to be tense.
This is chapter 14, so is this like
we're adding a layer.
Yeah.
Just like he is being carefully watched,
and he's aware. Well, but this is chapter 14, so this is like far into his ministry. So they're like, yeah, we know this dude and we don't like him. Yeah, I mean, it is the animosity is established at this point. Okay.
There in front of him was a man suffering from abnormal swelling of his body. Jesus asked the Pharisees and experts in the law, "Is it lawful to heal on the Sabbath or not?" But they remained silent. So taking hold of him, he healed him and sent him on his way. Then he asked them, "If one of you has a child or an ox that falls into a well on the Sabbath day, will you not immediately pull it out?" And they had nothing to say. So we've not gotten to the parable yet, by the way. It is not about the ox falling into the... Do what?
I would have nothing to say to that too.
Right?
I'd be like, yes, I would.
So there's plenty to talk about here if we were just doing a sermon on Luke 14, 1-6.
Okay.
There's plenty to say here, but we're not to the parable yet.
Okay.
But just kind of, I think this is a really good setup.
Okay.
Jesus is at a Pharisee's house. They have a lot of animosity.
They're testing him right off the bat.
Even within that, they're being carefully watched. And Jesus takes the initiative to test them. Yeah. Usually a lot of these stories are... They're poking at him. Well, what about this? What do you think about this? And try to find some gotcha controversial question. Jesus is the one that initiates the conflict. Oh, you're watching me? Okay. I got something I would like for you to see. Yeah. Here's this guy. He is suffering. I know that according to your laws, it's limited to what you can and can't do on the Sabbath. Is it okay for me to heal them? Yeah. And what do the Pharisees say? Nothing. So Jesus is in fact better at the trap questions than they are. Trump card. But here's the thing. Pharisees are good at recognizing
when they've been trapped.
When they recognize him, they can't get out of it, but they at least recognize, or they recognize it. And so he does heal him and sent him on his way, and then said, "If you had a child fall in a ditch, would you get him out?"
100%.
And what do they say? Nothing. Because again, they, as people who it feels like it is their job, at least according to what it feels like it for us in the narratives, like it's their full-time job to try to trap Jesus. Yeah. Like game respects game.
Sure.
Like that's a great question for which there's no answer. Yeah.
Because we would look stupid if we tried to.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, technically, but it's just easier to just not say anything. Yeah. Yeah. And so that's where we find ourselves. Okay. So they're trying to examine Jesus closely, but rather than, I mean, he's on, again, maybe all sorts of sports metaphors here, right? I mean, it's an away game for Jesus. Okay. Right? I mean, he's at their house. They're watching him, but he came out swinging. Yeah. He's taken the early lead in the series here and at the away game. And that's where we are. And that's where we continue on. So it's a tense situation. He's at their house. They're watching him closely, but he is the one that's taking the initiative. He's not waiting to respond to whatever nonsense they come up with. Now we get to the parable. Verse 7, when he noticed how the guests picked the places of honor at the table, he told them this parable. When someone invites you to a wedding feast, do not take the place of honor, for a person more distinguished than you may have been invited. If so, the host who invited both of you will come and say to you, "Give this person your seat." Then, humiliated, you will have to take the least important place. But when you are invited, take the lowest place, so that when your host comes, he will say to you, "Friend, move up to a better place." Then you will be honored in the presence of all the other guests. For all those who exalt themselves will be humbled, and those who humble themselves will be exalted.
That seems like proper party etiquette.
Right?
That's my first read on it of like, yeah, but I don't know their cultural etiquette, I guess.
Well, I mean, just imagine. I mean, here it is for us. I mean, it's like you're at a wedding,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and that's something they're assigning tables. What if they weren't assigning tables?
Yeah.
Right? Where would you
sit?
Where would you want to sit?
Close to the bride and groom.
Close to the bride and groom.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if your perception is, one, I'm important, and two, we're close.
Yeah.
I want to take the lead in showing that.
Yeah.
Some of us are just back row, back corner.
Sure.
Farthest away.
You're a courtesy invite.
Well, no, I mean, even if I am a courtesy, even if I'm not, I'm trying to sit in the back.
No matter what.
I'm not trying to be in the middle of it.
Why?
I'm good. What am I trying to do?
What if all of your
be right
friends
up on
are
the
sitting?
DJ?
But what if,
I can't hear the DJ from here. I got to get up here.
but what if all your friends are sitting up close? Would you pick sitting with some rando group in the back?
My friends,
correct,
are also back row, back table people. That's why they're my friends. We're friends this way. We're not trying to get in the mix. But no, but I get you. I get your point.
Okay.
I'm saying that.
Sure.
I think differently than this, but I think it for you, I think that's a really good thing. It's like I want to be in the place that has the most activity.
Yes.
I want to be in the place that has the most honor, where the most things are happening,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because you go into that thinking about, what do I want in this party?
Yeah. So it's a very selfish entrance.
And so that's what we're saying. You're walking into the banquet, and you're like, where do I want to sit?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I want to sit next to the person who was wealthy and powerful enough to have hosted this banquet.
Mm-hmm.
I want, if something important is going to happen, it is going to happen around them.
Yeah.
And it is important for me to be connected to what's important. And it is also very important that everyone know how important I am.
Mm-hmm.
And again, the where you sit at the reception is the same sort of thing. Not only do I want to be in the middle of this, but I want everyone to know how close I am
to
them.
Yeah.
I'm not just some person.
Yeah.
I'm not some friend of the bride's parents. I'm actually a best friend. I may not have been bridesmaid. I'm not bridesmaid. I'm not bridesmaid. Sure, I'm not bridesmaid, but I'm like, I practically was.
Yeah.
That's why they want me up here.
Yeah.
You're just some friend of an aunt or something, like I
or
am.
You're the distant great aunt.
Right. Yeah. You're nobody. I am, in fact, somebody.
Yeah.
And that's the idea here. I come into a party thinking, how is this best for me?
Mm-hmm.
I come into it with a very selfish sort of mindset. And so, but then the parable then makes sense. I mean, practically what he's saying is great. If really what you're concerned about is, there's a good chance that I could get humiliated here.
Mm-hmm.
And now it becomes a risk reward sort of thing. But it's like, but on the other hand, they may just not really care, and it's kind of a free for all. And if it's a free for all, I've got the best seat. When?
That's what I do at gym back mutes.
You sit in reserved seats?
Definitely.
And see if they don't show up?
Yeah.
Yeah, it depends on who I bring with me to a Razorback basketball game. Some people.
My roommate is like beads of sweat running down her face. She's so anxious.
My middle daughter, Lauren, she hates it. And so as a service to her, no matter how poorly attended I think the game is going to be, I will take her to my seats.
Yeah.
And on the one time this year that I took her to a really low level game, and there should have been no issues at all.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody came and said there.
Oh, really?
We were sitting in some nicer seats, and they were like, "These are our seats," and she was absolutely mortified, and I felt really bad.
In my mind, I'm like, "Oops."
But I'm always
move 2 seats down.
I'm looking for better seats. Like if you're gonna kick me out of these seats, and
I'll go down there.
I'm gonna go to these ones. You could have had like it's almost like it's like
you could have gone closer
I'm
too.
showing you.
Yeah.
You could have had these better seats.
Yes.
You're kicking me out for something, and now I'm upgrading.
Yes.
So, anyways, I think after that, I was like, okay, we can just go.
We'll go back up to where we belong.
Just go up to the seats where we belong. Yes. Right. And so like I'm looking for a privilege that I did not pay for.
Yeah.
That really is technically not mine.
Mm-hmm.
And then again, you have the chance of being humiliated. You may get away with it.
Yeah.
And so what Jesus is saying, it is better to come in with a humble mindset.
Yeah.
For those who exalt themselves will be humbled, and those who humble themselves will be exalted. It is better for you to come in and sit in the back, and possibly you'll be invited. Hey, what are you doing up here?
Yeah.
As opposed to thinking you're really important and getting moved to the back.
Mm-hmm.
But again, what is the risk of starting out
in the back,
sitting in the back? What's the risk?
You might be with a weird table.
You might have to stay there.
Mm-hmm. That's my worst nightmare.
But what Jesus is saying is the risk reward flip flop, right? It is the second one is still better because at least you have been humble.
Yeah. And I guess it also shows, well, this may be going too far down the line, but if you feel totally secure in your relationship with the person, you're not gonna be bothered by where you're seen in relationship to them.
Yeah, I'm confident.
I'm there for them.
I'm confident in myself.
Mm-hmm.
I know who I am.
Mm-hmm.
I'm confident in my relationship with them, and where I sit here
doesn't reflect on that.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that somebody's like, oh, I thought Abigail. I thought they were close.
Yeah,
but here she is. In fact, she's sitting next to the bathroom in the back.
Yeah.
But you walk in and you see Charlie sitting way in the back by the bathroom. You're like,
okay.
He did that on purpose. Good for him. He got right the spot where he wanted. He's in the back and he's right by the bathroom.
Yeah.
And the question is, can I see the cake from where I am? That's really
is that important to you?
That's why I'm there.
The cake.
Cake.
Not the cake cutting.
Why is the cake already not? Here's the best thing that you can do right now. We are so way off here. The best thing you do is have your little ceremony thing where you're kind of cutting, but really the cake is already in the back, fully cut.
It's already cut, yeah.
And so they do their little ceremony, and then immediately hundreds of pieces of cake come out.
Yeah,
that's what I'm going for.
Yeah, sure.
But eventually, I've gotten to this point with Heidi. Like sometimes the cake is a little too fancy.
Oh,
like I'm looking for just a good wedding cake, white cake, white icing, just really good
vanilla cake,
real frosting.
Yeah.
That I'm like, if it doesn't, we're gonna have to stop at Walmart
because you already have it in your mind. I intended to have ice cream and cake today, so I will have that.
I'm getting cake. But I mean, again, even in that joking thing that I just said, right? What is the purpose of this reception?
To honor the guest,
right?
Host
well, I'm thinking
whatever.
like, what am I? Make sure I'm going to get what I want out of this, right? Like I sometimes I'm like, why do we got to have all this fancy food? Why can't we just have normal food? And I want cake, and I want lots of it. And I'm like, that's me trying to turn this experience
out of it
into what I want.
Yeah.
Why is there fancy food here? Because the bride and the groom wanted the fancy food.
Yeah.
Why are we having fondant cake? Do you have to edit that out? Do you have to edit out a sound?
No, it's an appropriate reaction.
Okay, fair enough. Like what? Because that is what they wanted, and it is in fact about them, not me.
Yeah.
And very often we walk into someone else's situation, and we think, is this designed to be what I would want it to be?
Yeah.
And here's where this gets worse, because Jesus is like, while we're here, I'm just going to bring this up. So now we're a little bit off the parable, and now into just straight up teaching.
7.
Verse 12.
Whoa.
Then Jesus said to his host, when you give a luncheon or dinner, do not invite your friends, your brothers or sisters, your relatives, or your rich neighbors. If you do, they may invite you back, and so you will be repaid. But when you give a banquet, invite the poor, the crippled, the lame, the blind, and you will be blessed. Although they cannot repay you, you will be repaid at the resurrection of the righteous.
That's just like a little add-on.
Yeah, I mean, just like, and also just like I was doing okay. Like I feel like I can come to your banquet. I can come to somebody else's banquet and be chill.
Yeah.
And not feel like I got to push my way forward. But also it's because I'm not by nature a pushy guy anyway. That's not what I'm trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, great job, Jesus. Thank you for that parable that is easy to understand and easy, at least for me, to apply.
Sure.
And then drops it. And by the way, and when you're the host of the party, don't invite the people that you want to be there.
Don't invite
your
clout.
friends.
Yeah. Bummer.
And that's not like, well, we don't want to misinterpret what Jesus is saying here. I mean, no, what he said was actually very straightforward and really doesn't call for a lot of Don't invite people that can pay you back. And like the best I can really do is say, when I invite people to my house, I'm really not expecting them to invite me back. I like hosting, so I'm glad to have my friends here. That's the best I can do, because I most certainly have never hosted a banquet where random people who I know would never get invited to something. I'm going to invite them. Maybe the closest that I've ever done is when we did college ministry. We would have a dinner once a year where we invited
just
all the international students.
Oh, yeah.
To make sure that every international student at Hendrix, at least at some point during their time in college, got to be invited into a American home.
Yeah.
That's the closest I've ever come, but that's still not close to what Jesus is saying here.
Yeah. Well, it again seems like you're not in this to get clout or position from this. You're just doing it for the sake of you want to invite and host. Yeah, whereas the one before was you're not going to grow clout or anything like that. You're just going to enjoy.
So in a parable, I can kind of I can go a level up and say, don't make it about you. Be a humble person in all circumstances. Don't go into situations trying to exalt yourself, but go into a situation with a humble attitude. Yeah. And I can level that. I can take that up a level, turn it into a principle, and come up with any number of ways to apply it. And then he switched to just straight teaching that's saying, here's how you should consider dinners that you host at your house.
So do you think they discuss this at all?
What do you mean?
He says these two things. I don't know what the next part is. Are we reading further?
No, that's it.
Okay. So this moment ends. Do they just go into anyway, the weather's great? Or are they I don't like that idea. I want to sit close. Mm-hmm. What if they discuss this in the moment when he's saying these things?
It seems up until this point that they don't really seem to be wanting to interact with him a whole lot. He's just cutting them and they're just sitting there. I mean, the next thing that does happen, and we can't just look real quick, verse 15, when one of those at the tables with him heard this, he said to Jesus, "Blessed is the one who will eat at the feast in the kingdom of God." Which in old term vernacular, I don't hear anybody use this anymore, is what we would call a Jesus juke, but I don't know that you can Jesus juke Jesus himself. Okay. Right? He's talking about how you live right now. Yeah. You should be a better person right now and be like, you know what's going to be awesome though, bro? Heaven. Right? I mean, it's and Jesus what are you? That's really not currently what we're talking about.
Right. But he's trying to flex and be like, yeah, we're the same.
And so then what he does do is he talks about a parable that we've already looked at. He says, you know what's going to be great when we go to heaven. And then he's like, oh, are we talking about heaven now? And because we're talking about heaven, people like you
are going to miss it.
Are going to miss it because you're kind of a jerk, which is back to the original point. And you're going to make all sorts of excuses as to why you weren't willing to really follow the call of God in your life. God is calling you right now, and you're making excuses, just like these people who aren't coming to the King's banquet. You're actually going to miss it. And the people that you're dissing, those are the people that are going to make it.
I feel like they would just be sitting there looking really defeated. Because it's like, that's Jesus' words.
And again, I'm not saying this justifies anything, but you can kind of see, like, okay, why they would kind of walk away from that going, okay, he's smarter than us, he's better than us, people like him more than us.
Well, and surely we're
gonna have to get rid of him.
But also, I mean, maybe this is me just being really different from their culture, but like everything he's saying is like objectively true, right?
It's hard to argue with anything that he has said. It would, in fact, be a kinder, nobler, more humble thing to, I've got the money to throw a party.
Yeah.
And I'm going to give that party to people who don't get to go to parties.
Like that, like even to them, that would have been objectively like, that's a good thing.
How do you say, what's the art? I don't want, really all you can say is I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
When you go to a party and you're invited, you should take a humble posture and sit at the back. Well, I don't want to do that because I might end up in the back.
Yeah.
Like, is it lawful to heal this guy on the Sabbath?
I don't want to.
I don't want to answer that.
Yeah.
I don't want to. What about, will you pull your kid out of a ditch? And like, even if I say, well, but that's different, well, that kind of exposes me again.
Yeah.
Like, Jesus is kind of just very straightforwardly, he starts by kind of turning their legalism on its head, and then really saying, you are everything that you do, you're in it for clout.
Yeah.
You are a clout, self-driven person, and your whole worldview is skewed. And it's like, but at least you're going to heaven because we follow the law. And he's like, actually, you're not. Because you have missed the whole point.
Yeah.
And you think that what you're doing is important, but you doing the things that you think are important are actually making you miss the bigger picture idea of it is not about you.
Yeah.
And the people who, based on their circumstances, have a significantly, really, humility is their only option. They're the ones that are going to be able to hear.
Yeah.
And, again, like I'm such a, like, it's hard for me to, like, I'm not really a rule follower per se, but I look at that and I'm like, man, is there some way? Like, I mean, it's like, well, I give money to charity and we give money and we have a food bank and I'm trying to help people.
Yeah.
But like,
surely that.
Yeah, I mean, it's something, isn't it? I mean,
yeah.
Not everything's about me, but I'm sorry, parties at my house are.
Yeah.
It's not that I'm expecting the people that we had over to the house this weekend are going to invite me to their house at some point.
Yeah.
But
you have reciprocal relationships.
Right. Yeah. I'm giving something and then I received something.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the time. I got something out of it. Like I'm deeply invested in, like what you said, reciprocal relationships. And I can try to talk my way out of that amongst people who only pursue reciprocal relationships, I'm a relatively good person in that.
Yeah.
I do other things that are more humble, but I'm deeply invested in reciprocal relationships.
Yeah.
Again, I could say, well, I'm a pastor and I do this and I do that. And, it is true that my social life is mostly 95+% me taking the initiative.
Yeah.
But I'm not taking initiative with the people that Jesus is talking about here, right? And so that's what I mean by there's not going to be anything to disagree with. There's nothing that's going to be hard to understand. I'm just going to walk away from this just a little uncomfortable.
Definitely. I would have, but they're not even walking away. They're just sitting there at the table.
Right.
It's really awkward, like fiddling with their thumbs.
And again, and their main application point is I have nothing to do with this. I have nothing to say to this. Our only really option is to
get rid of
to get rid of him.
Which honestly, that is like I feel like you can forget that, or maybe not everybody, but going through these so slowly one by one, that like what he was saying is offensive enough that rather than just like, "No, I guess he's right," they wanted to get rid of him.
Offensive. I don't know if offensive is the right word. It's
or like
just
uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's just in order. If I put one foot in his pool, I take one step towards him.
Yeah,
my whole worldview falls apart.
Mm-hmm.
So the best thing to do is to completely ignore him.
Yeah,
I got to cast him to the side, which we do a marginally better job than that. But I don't know that we're going to do much of a better job than with this than to just be like, I mean, we're not gonna kill him.
Yeah,
We're just gonna ignore him.
Yeah,
but it's definitely gonna sit with me for a while.
Yeah,
before I probably get to the place where I'm like, I'm still not gonna do that. But like,
I'm just gonna pretend I didn't hear that.
Right, but like, it's gonna stick with me. Like, are there ways, even if I can't get all the way to hosting parties for strangers, are there more things that we can be doing to deeply love and invest in people who have nothing to give back?
Mm-hmm.
And again, I'm not want to sit here and just take some false pride. What can almost feel like a prideful humility. I mean, I feel like there's a lot of things that our church does we give a lot of money to people who never give back. We host a lot of events here for people who don't have a place that they can host events, and we don't take any money from them. There's things that we're doing as a church, and there's some things that we do as a family that are kind like this, but the level of challenge is like, even if, like, again, I feel like you grade me / us against everybody, I get a good grade.
Sure.
You grade me against what he just said.
Standard, yeah.
That's the standard? Not me compared to everybody else, but that's the standard?
That's a challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I just need to move on and talk about a different parable.
I'm good with that. One last thing that I would say about weddings, though.
Oh.
This is going to be maybe a hot take. I have been to a lot of weddings coming from a college town, and all of my sorority sisters and everybody else. Also shooting weddings. I do videography and photography. I don't think I've ever had good wedding food. It's like, you had to feed us and you did your best. But there's never like wow, that was a good dinner.
See, I'm just a regular guy that likes regular food. And so the first wedding, the first one was one that was 30 years ago, but the most recent wedding that I've been to where I was like, this is what I'm talking about.
My sister's?
Your sister's wedding.
She just had pizza.
They had a food truck that was making pizza, and they weren't making them made to order. They were just popping them out. We're making these 3 sorts of pizzas, and we're just popping them out one on one. Like, pizza.
Yeah.
That's what people like. Yes.
But like, if I showed up to a wedding and they just had Eureka pizza, I'd be like, that's better than this like catered fancy restaurant that's actually not good because you catered it instead of getting it at the restaurant.
Yeah.
It's just always a letdown.
The more we talk about this, eventually I'm going to hurt somebody's feelings. And so, but I'll switch from weddings to just banquets in general. Oh, we're going to a banquet. It's going to be a catered banquet in this ballroom. And I'm like, I am not going to enjoy this food. Yeah. It's
probably not very warm.
It's a piece of chicken. It's a piece of chicken. Those extremely long green beans.
Yeah.
A roll you could kill a man with.
Yeah.
And butter that just came from the freezer.
And meanwhile, you're trying to cut it all with plastic utensils. That's not working very well.
All right, so I can't get the ice cold butter. I can't do anything with the rock of a roll. And then the choices are water and unsweet tea.
Yeah. So it's like, I'll just eat after.
That is, if I can find the menu in a banquet beforehand, if I can find it before, I'll eat beforehand. I'll eat
I'll eat before that would be a great option.
Before I go. And then that's why I'm fine.
Yeah. It's just always a letdown.
And then they start with a salad, and Heidi gets 2 salads. It's great.
Exactly.
Anyways. So all that aside, no, but for real, I really like, legitimately, all jokes aside, all self-deprecating aside, I do feel really challenged by this.
Yeah.
Of just this idea of, I like your word. Am I only investing in reciprocal relationships? And
Mhm.
how can I do a better job of even just kind of going deeper and it's like, okay, I'm investing in this person. They don't really have anything to give back to me. Like there are people who just legitimately have nothing.
Mhm.
And how can we be more mindful of investing in them rather than in reciprocal relationships?
And I think the continual investment. Like I'm assuming if you're someone that throws parties, you probably throw more than one in your lifetime. Right. And being willing to continue to be that type of person that invites whoever. And it's not like you did one and then you'll invite your friends to the next one.
And when I hear about people who really do things like that, I mean, they really are some of the most people I admire the most.
Yeah. People
who just are genuinely deeply investing in the most hurting, disenfranchised people in our community.
Yeah.
It's very admirable. And again, I feel very challenged by this. So anyways, thank you as always for great conversation. Thank you for joining us, and we will keep this going. Got several more parables to do and look forward to continue to sharing that Jesus's wisdom with all of you. And we would love to connect with you on Sunday morning. Find our church at thegrovechurch.org. You go to the Get Connected section. There's a form you can fill out. You can find information about our churches on Sunday, both online and in person. You can send us questions, just your thoughts. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'd love to hear from you, and we'll see you next time. Thank you for listening to the Cultivate podcast. Our hope is that you are taking steps to go deeper in your faith, that you are asking big questions and you're looking for answers. We hope that we can be a resource for you through our podcast and any other way that we can help you. You can find all our episodes anywhere that you can find podcasts, including YouTube. And again, thank you so much for joining us.